This hurts a woman the most when she doesn't value you. Psychology tricks. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. There's a hard truth most men learn late. When a woman no longer values you, the thing that unsettles her isn't your temper, your speeches, or even your exit. It's your genuine indifference to her absence. When you stop needing her approval to feel complete, something shifts. The grip she believed she had dissolved, and your center returns to you. That's the moment her pride cracks and the moment you wake up. Here are the truths many men ignore. Indifference is louder than anger. Rage signals attachment. Steady neutrality signals self-command. Validation is a trap. Needing to be chosen makes you small. Choosing your standards makes you solid. Boundaries beat bargaining. You don't debate your worth, you live it. Walking away isn't the power, moving on is. Your life refocuses on purpose, not persuasion. This guide will help you reclaim your footing, rebuild your value, and live by Stoic principles, strength in action, calm under pressure, and disciplined self-control. When you no longer outsource your peace, everything else, respect, attraction, and direction, falls into place. 1. It begins when she stops respecting you. It always begins quietly, the slow fade of respect. At first, she just laughs a little less. Then she replies slower, her tone cools, and her eyes don't light up when you talk. You tell yourself it's nothing, but deep down, you feel the shift. She starts comparing you, other men wouldn't do that, or why can't you be more like him? That's not random, that's female psychology at work. When a woman stops valuing you, it's not sudden, it's a gradual withdrawal, a test of how far she can pull before you notice. And here's where men trip up. You start bending, explaining, giving more, hoping that if you love harder, she'll love you back. Don't. That's your first and biggest mistake. You think you're repairing the bond, but what you're really doing is confirming her suspicion that you've lost your edge. Women fall in love with strength, certainty, and purpose, not with pleading or proving. It's one of those subtle psychology tricks that most men never see coming. She doesn't want your endless patience. She wants your presence, your boundaries, your quiet confidence that says, I don't chase what doesn't respect me. That is how you win in female psychology, by not playing the game she's subconsciously setting. The truth? The more you chase, the less she values you. Be still. Be grounded. Don't explain yourself into invisibility. You must understand how to fall in love again, not by clinging, but by commanding your worth. That's how a woman's mind resets its focus. The real psychology trick isn't about manipulation, it's about mastering yourself. Because once you do, she either steps closer or watches you walk away, realizing what she lost when she stopped respecting you. 2. When effort turns into desperation. Love cannot exist without respect. That's the truth most men learn the hard way. The moment your effort begins to smell of desperation, her respect begins to fade. Slowly, silently, fatally. A high-value man doesn't chase approval, he commands it. When you start proving your worth, you're already losing it. Why? Because value isn't something you explain, it's something you embody. A lion doesn't roar to prove he's king. He just is. The jungle already knows. Be very careful here. The harder you try to convince her you're enough, the less she feels it. It's ironic, but it's the law of attraction, not the cute kind you find in magazines, but the psychological truth. Neediness repels. Confidence attracts. When your masculine energy weakens under the pressure of seeking validation, you stop being a man she admires and become a man she manages. Don't beg for recognition. Don't plead for appreciation. Be the man who walks away before he's reduced to convincing. Because the moment you start explaining your value, you've already told her you doubt it. That's when she begins to lose interest, not because she's cruel, but because instinct tells her something's off. A woman wants to feel safe in your strength. She needs to sense that you can hold your own ground. The moment your emotional stability depends on her attention, that safety collapses. Remember, the high-value man is not loud, but clear. He doesn't shout his worth, he shows it. Through silence, through standards, through self-control. That is masculine energy in its purest form. You must stop chasing and start being. Stop proving and start living your truth. Be calm. Be grounded. Be the gravity she can't escape. Because a man who constantly explains his worth is silently confessing he is none. And that, my friend, hurts a woman more than rejection. It destroys the mystery, the magnetism, the attraction. So stay firm. Stay focused. Stay high value. That is how you attract women, not through effort, but through essence. 3. Signs she no longer respects you. When a woman no longer values you, she doesn't shout it, she shows it. She cancels plans at the last minute because your time no longer commands respect. She takes days to respond because your attention has lost its weight. She laughs at your goals, mocks your dreams, and speaks as though your voice carries no meaning. You see it. You feel it. Yet you keep hoping she'll change. Stop. Respect, once lost, rarely returns. Never beg someone to respect you. Their indifference has already spoken, as Marcus Aurelius might remind us. Old Stoic wisdom teaches one truth: control yourself, not others. You can't make her value you, but you can refuse to be devalued. That is strength. That is discipline. That is an iron mind. Don't chase what disrespects you. Don't argue with someone who no longer listens. Don't try to earn what should have been freely given. The Stoic man understands love without respect is weakness disguised as devotion. When respect dies, attraction follows, and you become an option, not a priority. Refuse that role. Reclaim your power. Build your self-worth like a fortress. Stand tall, silent, unbothered. That's Stoicism win, not by emotion, but by mastery. Seneca once said, "He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior." So conquer your need for validation. Win by detachment. Win by dignity. Win by walking away. Let her laughter echo. It only proves what you've outgrown. Let her distance stretch. It creates room for your growth. You must become the man who doesn't crumble when love fades, but hardens into purpose. That is the essence of Old Stoic wisdom, to remain unmoved when tested. Develop an iron mind. Choose peace over pleading. Choose pride over pity. Walk forward, not backward. Respect yourself so deeply that losing anyone who doesn't match your worth feels like victory. If this message spoke to you, hit like, drop a comment, and share it with a brother who needs this reminder. Don't forget to subscribe for more Stoic wisdom and mindset mastery. Speech balloon positive affirmation. I respect myself enough to walk away from disrespect. Backhand index pointing right, comment this below to affirm your worth and keep your mindset strong. 4. Why men fall into this trap. Most men are wired to believe that effort equals love. You were told since boyhood, if you just give more, she'll appreciate you. But here's the truth that stings. Effort without respect isn't love. It's submission dressed up as devotion. That's not romance, that's self-erasure. And women, whether they admit it or not, have a radar for weakness. They can smell desperation the way sharks sense blood in the water. The moment your love turns into pleading, you stop being desirable. You become predictable. Replace how to fall in love with how to keep her respect, because in female psychology, respect is the real aphrodisiac. Give a woman everything before she's earned it, and you've already lost the game. This is one of the oldest psychology tricks life plays on men, convincing them that the harder they try, the more they'll be valued. Wrong. The truth is, the more you chase, the faster she runs. Don't let your love become labor. Be smart. Be composed. Be the man who understands that genuine affection doesn't need to beg to be seen. You must remember, a woman values what she must earn, not what's handed to her on a silver platter. When you give endlessly without boundaries, you teach her to take without thinking. That's when she stops admiring you. That's when indifference replaces affection. It's not cruelty, it's nature. Understanding female psychology isn't manipulation, it's awareness. Learn the psychology tricks that keep your heart from being trampled. Don't confuse persistence with power. Don't confuse giving with winning. You must master how to fall in love without losing your self-respect. Because in the end, the real tragedy isn't that she didn't value you, it's that you stopped valuing yourself trying to make her see your worth. That is the heartbreak that hurts the most. 5. The truth about value. People don't value what's too easy to get. That's the first rule of human nature and the first test of a high-value man. When your time, attention, and energy are available to everyone, they stop meaning anything. Just like money printed in excess loses its worth, your constant presence and approval lose their power. Think about it. Water from a tap is useful but taken for granted. Diamonds, though? Rare, desired, and fiercely protected. That's the psychology of value. You must learn to be the diamond, not the tap. When you hand out validation like free samples, when you chase, explain, or overgive, you become predictable. Predictable is not powerful. Predictable is not attractive. And for a man trying to attract women, predictability kills masculine energy faster than rejection ever could. A woman doesn't respect what she doesn't have to work for. When she feels no challenge, no distance, no mystery, her curiosity dies. And when curiosity dies, attraction follows. That's what hurts her the most when she doesn't value you, the silent realization that she can't feel anything real anymore. Don't be the man who bends backward for attention. Be the man whose attention means something. That is strength. That is self-respect. You must remember, your time is your currency and your energy is your kingdom. Spend both like a king, not a beggar. When your standards are high and your time is rare, you radiate masculine energy. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop proving and start choosing. That's how a high-value man moves, steady, grounded, unbothered. And that calm power? It's magnetic. So, protect your worth. Guard your time. Speak less, observe more. Let your silence do the talking and your absence do the teaching. Because in a world where everyone is desperate to be seen, the man who can stand still, who can wait, becomes the one worth watching. That's the truth about value. Not in words, but in presence. Not in trying harder, but in being more. 6. The difference between being liked and being respected. A woman can like you without ever truly respecting you, and that's the cold truth most men avoid. Being liked is easy. It's comfort. It's convenience. But being respected, that's the domain of strength, consistency, and self-control. You're nice is what she says to men who follow. You're strong is what she says to men who lead. The difference is everything. When a woman likes you but doesn't respect you, her affection is temporary, her loyalty conditional, and her attraction fragile. Old Stoic wisdom teaches that emotions are fleeting, but respect is rooted in virtue and discipline. That is the essence of Stoicism win. It's not about pleasing her, it's about mastering yourself. You must understand that validation is a drug, but respect is power. Don't beg for attention, command it through action. Don't explain your worth, demonstrate it through how you carry yourself. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That's the iron mind you must build, the mind that values self-control over approval, silence over complaint, principle over popularity. In modern life, distractions weaken men. Social media flatters weakness and mocks strength. Don't fall for it. When you seek to be liked, you surrender your authority. When you demand respect through discipline, you take it back. Let's make this clear. She can like you for your humor, your charm, or your gifts, but she will only respect you for your boundaries, your integrity, and your direction. That's what separates men who drift from men who lead. You must remember, respect is not asked for, it's earned, daily, through your words, your restraint, your will. Stop chasing comfort. Chase command. Don't bend to gain favor. Stand firm to gain respect. That is how Old Stoic wisdom shapes modern mastery. That is how Stoicism win becomes your daily armor. Build the iron mind that no insult, no rejection, no woman can shake. Because once you embody that strength, respect follows naturally, and when she respects you, everything changes. If this message hits home, like, share, and subscribe for more Stoic insights that sharpen your mind and strengthen your will. Comment to remember, respect isn't given, it's earned through discipline. 7. The cost of ignoring the signs. Men who ignore the red flags always end up paying the highest emotional price. You see it all the time, men convincing themselves she'll come around, that she just needs space, or that love means enduring the silence. They stay, hoping things will magically get better. They try harder, give more, wait longer. They pour effort, attention, and heart into someone who's already mentally packing her bags. But here's the harsh truth: the more you chase her validation, the less she values your presence. That's female psychology in motion. When you become predictable, when your every move screams, "I'll be here no matter what," she stops feeling the thrill of how to fall in love, because certainty kills curiosity. Don't ignore the subtle cues. The sigh when you speak, the half-hearted replies, the way her laughter sounds different now. These aren't coincidences. They're warnings written in body language and tone. Be smart enough to read them. That's where psychology tricks come in, not manipulation, but understanding what drives emotional attraction. A woman wants to feel she's chosen a man with self-respect, not a man begging for recognition. When you keep overgiving, she subconsciously starts asking herself, why doesn't he see his own worth? And that's when you lose her, not because you weren't enough, but because you made yourself too available, too easy, too expected. Don't make her comfort your cage. Be the man who sets boundaries with quiet confidence. That's the secret most men miss. The moment you stop chasing is the moment she starts remembering why she wanted you in the first place. The unpredictable, the intentional. That's female psychology at its core. You must understand the emotional push and pull that keeps attraction alive. When you learn these psychology tricks, you stop trying to force love and start inspiring it. Because she didn't leave when you failed to love her enough. She left when you stopped being a mystery worth exploring. Never forget, being too easy is the fastest way to become invisible. 8. What you must do when she doesn't value you. Don't argue. Don't beg. Don't explain yourself again. You can't talk your way into respect. Words don't rebuild what actions destroyed. Boundaries do. When you notice the signs, the dismissive tone, the fading admiration, the subtle eye roll when you speak, step back. Quietly. Not with drama. Not with revenge in your veins. Do it with calm dominance. That's masculine energy, strength under control. Not noise, not chaos. Just presence. Because here's the truth. The moment you start justifying yourself, you lose ground. The moment you chase validation, you shrink. And the moment you shrink, you stop being the high-value man she was once drawn to. Let her feel your absence. Let silence do what your speeches can't. Women don't fall for explanations. They fall for energy. And nothing attracts women faster than a man so focused on his mission that her approval becomes irrelevant. Be still. Be disciplined. Channel your energy into your body, your purpose, your growth. Hit the gym. Build your mind. Strengthen your will. When you redirect your power inward, the world, and often she, takes notice. But by then, you won't care. Because a man who reclaims his peace never looks back. He realizes that love without respect is a trap, a soft prison for his potential. So don't fight for her attention. Fight for your focus. Don't demand she sees your worth. Be the man whose worth can't be ignored. That is the paradox of attraction. The high-value man walks away not to manipulate, but to elevate. And when he does, he becomes magnetic again, not just to her, but to life itself. Stand tall. Step back. Breathe deep. Your silence is not weakness. It's power. Your distance is not punishment. It's proof that you've learned one of the hardest truths. When she doesn't value you, the most masculine thing you can do is walk away with dignity. 9. The Stoic man and the power of calm. When a woman stops valuing you, don't chase her. Don't explain. Don't beg. That's the moment you must become iron. The moment your silence must speak louder than your pain. Remember this: he who angers you conquers you, as Elizabeth Kenny once said. A Stoic man never lets his emotions hand his power to someone else. Old Stoic wisdom teaches us, mastery of emotion is mastery of self. When she disrespects you, do not respond with chaos, respond with calm. Calm is your weapon. Calm is your control. Calm is your victory. That is how you win the invisible war of dignity. That is how Stoicism wins, through restraint, not reaction. In a world that rewards noise, be the man who doesn't flinch. Be the storm's eye, unshaken, unbothered, unmoved. She expects you to crumble. Don't. She expects you to plead. Don't. She expects to see your weakness. Don't. That is how you regain control, not by speaking, but by showing. You must remind yourself your worth was never in her validation. It was forged in your discipline, your silence, your iron mind. A man who lives by Stoic principles doesn't need to announce his value. He radiates it. He doesn't chase love. He attracts respect. He doesn't drown in rejection. He rises in self-command. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the old Stoic wisdom. Power is internal, not granted by others. Let her wonder why you didn't react. Let her question what you're thinking. Let her feel the weight of your absence. That's psychological dominance. That's Stoicism in motion. Don't let her see you unravel. That's exactly what she wants. Instead, let your silence become the mirror that reflects her loss. That is the art of the Stoic win. That is how the iron mind triumphs over emotional chaos. The modern man must learn this. In a digital world full of noise and emotional manipulation, your stillness is your rebellion. Don't chase validation, chase growth. Don't fight for attention, fight for mastery. Don't collapse under emotion, control it. Let her think she broke you. Let her think she won. But deep inside, you're rebuilding, stronger, colder, wiser. That's the Stoic man's revenge. That's how Stoicism wins again and again, not through argument, but through evolution. Your silence is not weakness, it's strategy. Your calm is not surrender, it's power contained. And when you master that, when you choose restraint over reaction, you become untouchable. So stand tall, look life in the eye, speak little, move with purpose. And remember, self-control is strength. Right thought is mastery. Calmness is power. Don't lose your center for anyone. Let your old Stoic wisdom guide you. Let your Stoicism win. Let your iron mind rule your world. If you find today's content useful to you, don't forget to share your feelings and lessons with us. Or simply comment, "Very cool." It's a great encouragement for our channel makers. Thank you very much. 10. Scarcity is the foundation of value. Scarcity is the foundation of value. Don't confuse this with manipulation. It's psychology, not a game. People, especially women, are wired to sense what's rare, what's valuable, what's not easily owned. When your time is limited, when your focus has purpose, when your energy has direction, you become magnetic. You don't chase, you attract. That's how female psychology works. It responds to a man who values himself. But when you're always available, always waiting, always proving yourself, you become predictable. And predictable is the kiss of death in attraction. You must understand this. The more accessible you are, the less mystery you hold. The less mystery, the less power. It's not about playing hard to get. It's about being a man with purpose, with priorities, with boundaries. That's the essence of male value, and it's one of the oldest psychology tricks in the book. Women don't fall in love with a man who's everywhere. They fall for the one who's selective, disciplined, and grounded in his worth. You must stop offering your presence like it's a free sample. Be where your energy is respected. Be where your effort is matched. Be the man who can walk away, because that's the man she can't forget. In female psychology, scarcity breeds admiration. Abundance of attention breeds indifference. When she sees you living your life, focused, driven, not waiting for her validation, that's when she feels the pull. That's how to fall in love again, not through words, but through presence. The man who is everywhere becomes invisible. The man who is selective becomes unforgettable. Remember that. It's not arrogance, it's awareness. The world doesn't value what it can always have. So don't let yourself be too easy to reach, too easy to read, or too easy to please. Hold your frame, master your silence, and let scarcity speak louder than any confession. That is how you keep your worth undeniable. That is how you stay in control, not by withholding love, but by refusing to waste it. That's the real psychology trick every man must learn. When you act like you are the prize, she'll treat you like one. 11. The power of silence. Silence is not weakness. It's discipline. It's control. It's power. A high-value man understands this truth deeply, that silence speaks louder than any argument, louder than any explanation, and certainly louder than begging for validation. When you argue, she still holds the reins of your emotions. She feels your fire, your frustration, your need to be understood. She wins, not because she's right, but because you're still reacting. When you explain, you hand her your attention, the most valuable currency a man possesses. You become predictable, readable, and easy to manipulate. But when you go silent, she faces her own reflection. No more noise to distract her. No more emotional bait to pull you back in. Just the echo of her own actions. That's when silence becomes your strongest ally. It can't be twisted. It can't be debated. It can't be ignored. It stands firm, steady, calm, masculine. Be the man who doesn't rush to defend himself. Be the man who doesn't chase closure. Be the man whose masculine energy commands respect without a single word. Because silence, real, grounded silence, reveals the truth. It shows her what life feels like when your attention is gone. It exposes what she truly valued and what she took for granted. And make no mistake, that silence hurts more than any insult or rejection ever could. Don't explain yourself to someone who's already made up her mind. Don't argue for your worth. Show it through your calm detachment. Don't let her feel your absence as punishment. Let her feel it as peace. That is what a high-value man does. He doesn't fight for validation. He embodies it. He doesn't chase what runs. He attracts what aligns. In your silence lies your masculine energy, raw, focused, magnetic. It's the quiet confidence that says, I know who I am, and I don't need your approval to stay that way. So the next time she tries to provoke you, pause. Don't react. Don't explain. Be still. Let silence do the talking. Because sometimes the loudest message you'll ever send is the one you never say out loud. 12. Outgrowing her. Outgrowing her isn't about revenge. It's about rising above. It's not anger. It's awakening. When you evolve beyond the need for validation, beyond the noise of emotion, you take your power back. Outgrowing her means mastering yourself so completely that she can no longer touch your peace. You stop chasing, stop explaining, stop begging to be seen. You build. You train. You sharpen your focus until she realizes she no longer exists at the center of your universe. That realization cuts deeper than any insult or silence ever could. As Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. That is Old Stoic wisdom, unshakable, disciplined, relentless. Don't look back to see if she notices. Don't hope she regrets it. Let her absence echo against the walls of her own choices. You must walk forward with an iron mind, calm, firm, unbending. She lost a man who rebuilt himself from pain into purpose. That is your victory. That is Stoicism win, when emotion bows before reason, when weakness burns away and strength takes its place. You don't win her back, you win yourself back. In a world drowning in distraction and emotional chaos, the rare man who governs his feelings becomes a fortress. Be that fortress. Be the storm that learned to stand still. Let's be clear, when she no longer values you, your reaction determines your worth. Don't plead. Don't perform. Don't explain your greatness. Demonstrate it through evolution. As Seneca said, he who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior. Every rep in the gym, every hour of focus, every act of discipline adds bricks to the empire she can no longer enter. You must make growth your revenge, silence your weapon, peace your rebellion. That is Old Stoic wisdom, the art of winning without fighting, of rising without rage. Modern men drown in emotions they don't control, scrolling through lives they envy, chasing validation they'll never keep. Don't be that man. Be the man who commands himself. Build your iron mind through daily discipline. Stand tall in rejection. Smile at loss. Because when you outgrow her, you prove that you no longer need what once defined you. That is Stoicism win, the triumph of purpose over pain. Remember this. She'll feel it when she sees your peace. She'll sense it when she realizes she no longer affects you. Outgrowing her isn't the end of love. It's the beginning of power. Rise. Rule yourself. That's the victory only the strong understand, and the weak will always remember. If you've made it this far, you've already begun the transformation. Because the moment you stop chasing and start mastering yourself, that's when you win. Comment below with strength and clarity. I no longer chase. I rise. 13. Self-respect, the core of masculine strength. Many men proudly say, I stayed because I'm loyal. But deep down, what they really mean is, I was too scared to walk away. That's not loyalty, that's fear dressed up in devotion. Don't confuse staying with strength when what's really keeping you there is your fear of being alone. The truth? Loyalty without self-respect isn't love, it's emotional imprisonment. Be honest with yourself. When a woman no longer values you, staying only teaches her to keep taking you for granted. That hurts a woman the most when she doesn't value you, your silence, your absence, your peace. Because the moment you finally stop trying to prove your worth, that's when your worth becomes undeniable. That's not a trick, that's pure female psychology in motion. In psychology tricks, the strongest move isn't to fight for attention, it's to withdraw it. The man who respects himself doesn't chase validation. He commands it by existing in his purpose. You must remember, how to fall in love isn't about chasing or pleasing. It's about being so grounded in your value that love naturally orbits around you. Women sense this. They feel it before you even speak. That's female psychology at its core. They crave the man who doesn't need them to feel whole. Don't mistake arrogance for confidence. Confidence is silent. Arrogance is loud. Confidence says, I know who I am. Arrogance screams, please notice me. Be the man who walks away, not because he's angry, but because he finally remembered who he is. Don't stay out of habit. Don't cling out of fear. Don't confuse pain with passion. You must understand, your self-respect is your backbone. It's what keeps your heart from collapsing when love turns cold. In psychology tricks, walking away isn't rejection, it's revelation. It shows her that her games no longer work, that her approval no longer defines you. That's when she starts to notice the silence. That's when female psychology flips and she begins to chase what once chased her. So here's the truth most men never learn. The moment you stop begging for her affection is the moment she starts remembering your value. That's how to fall in love again, with yourself first. Don't be afraid to let go. Be bold enough to choose yourself even when your heart still wants her. Because a man with self-respect doesn't lose women, he loses chains. 14. Freedom, the ultimate victory. The real victory isn't making her regret losing you. It's when you no longer care whether she regrets it or not. Let that sink in. Freedom isn't about being single, it's about being unshaken. It's when your peace no longer depends on her presence, her opinion, or her validation. When your masculine energy stands tall, calm, and centered, that's when you've won. See, a lot of men chase revenge validation. They want her to see what she lost. They want her to ache with regret. But a high-value man doesn't move that way. He doesn't live to prove, he lives to be. That's the twist most men miss. The real victory is silence. Not because you're weak, but because your power doesn't need an audience. When you reach that point where her opinion no longer sways your emotions, you become magnetic. That calm confidence, that quiet power, it attracts women more than any display of status or success. You stop chasing, and suddenly, the world starts chasing you. Don't misunderstand, this isn't about pretending not to care. It's about actually not caring. There's a difference. Pretending drains you. Being free fuels you. A man rooted in himself doesn't crumble when she leaves. He doesn't spiral into questions like, what did I do wrong? He already knows his worth. He already knows what he brings. You must understand this truth. Losing her is not a loss. Losing yourself is. When you start compromising your peace, your purpose, or your masculine energy just to keep someone, you've already lost. Be unshakable. Be grounded. Be the storm that doesn't fear the wind. That is freedom, the moment when you stand in solitude and still feel whole. That's when no one's absence can break you, and no one's approval can make you. Because the man who is free, truly free, is the man every woman eventually remembers. Not because he begged, not because he proved, but because he walked away with peace, purpose, and power. Remember, A high-value man doesn't seek validation. He is validation. He doesn't chase to attract women. He becomes the man they can't forget. That is the ultimate victory. Freedom from her, from regret, from the need to be seen. Because when your soul is steady, your path clear, and your energy masculine yet peaceful, you've already won. And that's the truth, brother. A woman may walk away, ignore you, or even act like she's over you, but the real power shift happens when you stop needing her to see your worth. Remember, your silence speaks louder than your explanations. Your distance demands more respect than your chasing ever could, and your dignity. That's what defines you. So take this with you. Never hand over your peace just to prove your value. Build yourself. Protect your energy. Because when you truly value you, the world starts to do the same. Stay strong, stay grounded, and as always, take care of yourself, King. I'll see you in the next one.